Hey guys, welcome to What If Izuku Had a Healing Quirk, the movie. I really appreciate you guys. These are the 3 parts and the final part that I made that is an hour. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, and let's get into the video. The story begins when Izuku is only 4 years old. Unlike most children, Izuku never cared about fleshy powers. He just wanted to be a hero who could save everyone with a smile. One afternoon, Inko was cooking dinner, and then she heard a loud crash from the living room. She yelled out Izuku, and she ran to find her son crying. He had fallen off a chair while trying to reach one of the All Might action figures. Blood trickled from a cut on his forehead. Inko quickly picked him up. She said, "Oh no, hold still." But before she could grab the first aid kit, something incredible happened. A soft emerald glow surrounded Izuku's body. The cut had closed, the blood disappeared, not even the scar remained. Inko froze, and she said, "What?" Izuku had looked in his head in confusion. It doesn't hurt anymore. But before either of them could process what had happened, another surprise arrived. The next day at preschool, a classmate had tripped during recess and scraped his knees badly. While everyone panicked, Izuku instinctively grabbed the boy's hand. The same green light appeared, and within seconds, every scrape vanished. Everybody rushed over to Izuku, happy and laughing, saying that he got his quirk, and when he had got home that day, he had asked his mom could they go to the quirk doctor. They had got in the car and drove to the doctor's office. Izuku was bouncing up and down in his seat, happy, wondering, or knowing what his quirk is, but also amazed that he could heal people and help people. When they got there, the doctors ran tests, and the quirk name is Restoration, a powerful healing ability that allows Izuku to repair injuries, broken bones, damaged organs, and even exhaustion by transferring his own stamina into others. The more serious the injury, the more injury it costs. If he pushes too far, he risks collapsing. When he gets back home and he goes to his room, he looks up at his All Might Fit poster with sparkling eyes. If I can heal people, then I can help heroes save even more lives. For the first time, Inko realized something. Her son wasn't destined to become the strongest hero. He was destined to become the hero that made everybody stronger. 10 years later, when he was 14, a familiar red pair of red shoes walked down the halls of Aldera Middle School. Izuku Midoriya had grown taller, but his dream hasn't changed. He still wanted to be the world's greatest hero. The only difference, everyone thought his dream was impossible. As soon as Izuku entered the classroom, a loud voice immediately filled the room. "Oi, medic!" The class burst into laughter. Katsuki Bakugo leaned back in his chair with a smug grin. "So you're still trying to get into UA?" Izuku clutched his notebook, stuttering a bit. "Yeah," Bakugo laughed. "Don't make me laugh. You're just a nerd with a healing quirk. All you do is stand around." The class laughed even harder. One student spoke up. "He's got a doctor's quirk." Another added, "Nah, he'd make a better nurse." Izuku stayed silent. He had heard it all before. His quirk had become much stronger over the years though. He could heal broken bones. He could close deep wounds. He can even restore exhausted muscles. But people only saw support, never a hero. Bakugo stood up and walked over until they were face to face. "You notice the difference between us, Deku? That you'll sit back while I win fights, and you'll just heal the person I save." The classroom erupted in laughter again. Izuku lowered his head, but he didn't cry. Not anymore, at least. He simply picked up his notebook after Bakugo knocked it on the floor. There were hundreds of pages, rescue strategies, villain analysis, heroes combat tactics, medical procedures, and different ways to save people faster. Bakugo scoffed, "You're hopeless." The bell rang, ending class. As everyone left, Izuku looked out the window toward the distant skyline. "I proved them wrong. I don't have to destroy people to become the greatest hero. I just have to save more people than anyone else." Thank you everyone for listening to this video and taking the time out of your day to listen to part 1 of What If Deku Had a Healing Quirk. I hope everyone has a good day and a good night. And peace. The last day of middle school rolled around as Izuku had walked into class and sat down waiting for the teacher. As the teacher walked inside the classroom with career forms, he threw them all over the place saying, "We all know you guys want to be heroes." Then started reading off of the people who applied for schools. First name that came up, named Bakugo Katsuki. Everybody was like, "He's gonna get in, he's a big shot." And after a few more names, Izuku had popped up across it. As the teacher read, he started laughing to himself, and then everybody started laughing. And as he was saying Izuku's name, all laughing, Bakugo immediately said, "How are you going to make it into UA? You have a healing quirk." And then he grabs Izuku's shoulder and starts burning his shoulder, hurting Izuku, but nobody cared. After school, Izuku was packing his things, and he was ready to leave. Nobody was in the classroom. And once he turned around and tried to walk out the classroom, he bumped into Bakugo, falling down. Bakugo had turned around, obviously mad. So Deku got a beating and his notebook thrown out into the fountain. Pretty much from here, everything goes like the original until him and All Might are at the rooftop. There was smoke all around All Might as he deformed and went into his skinny form. And he coughs blood. Izuku obviously got scared. He didn't know what to do, but All Might explained to him the injury, as Deku named a few villains that most people don't even know. But it wasn't any of those, and he had told Izuku about his injury and about how everything happened. Deku hearing this was, first he was shocked. Who could do this to All Might? But the second thing on his mind is if he could heal it. So Izuku asked before anything else, asked if he could try to heal it. All Might wanted to see if the boy could heal him, even though he had heavy doubts because there was many doctors that tried the same thing. Deku had put his hands together and put them on All Might's injury, and they glowed, a soft emerald glow, as All Might's injury had not disappeared in the slightest, but it felt at ease when it was getting healed. But Izuku didn't have much stamina, so the most he could do was heal it just enough for All Might to stop coughing blood. And that's a huge improvement, which put an hour back onto All Might's clock of his form. All Might was very grateful. And then Izuku had asked the one question that he's been meaning to hear or All Might. And he asks All Might, can I become a hero with a healing quirk? And All Might thinks for 5 seconds, 10 seconds. And he says, I think you can become a hero, but you'll be support. And it hurts, but it's not like he wasn't wrong. Izuku knew that he was really meant for support. So when he was about to ask All Might another question, he heard a loud boom from the middle of the town, and he had saw a fire or a lot of dust rise up from the middle of the city. But All Might was already going down the stairs before All Might could hear anything, or so Deku just rushes down and he runs as fast as he can to the scene. Izuku is seeing people hurt from rubble have been fallen across and everything like that. So Izuku had went and healed a man, little girl, and a woman before jumping into action. And he had thrown 2 pencils at the sludge villain's eyes, and as fast as he could, grabbed Bakugo when the sludge villain flinched, kind of let go of Bakugo, and pulled him out as hard as he could. As he pulled Bakugo out of the sludge, and one of Bakugo's shoes had flown off, and as they rolled on the ground, All Might finally came and defeated the sludge villain. And while Izuku was getting scolded even for all the stuff he did, Bakugo was being praised for trying to fight back against the sludge villain. And All Might, before he could say anything to Izuku, he got swallowed up by reporters and people who wanted to know, on social media and all that. So he had to make an excuse and jump off. So Izuku walks home being scolded and just being overly just sad but happy of what he's done. Just keeps walking home. And Bakugo catches up to him saying, I didn't need your help. And pushes him. And then Bakugo goes and runs off. Clearly angry, but in a way thankful in his way. All Might pops out of nowhere from the corner, saying, I am here. And then immediately spits off and deforms right in front of Izuku. Izuku obviously, screams again because it was out of nowhere, but once he realized it was All Might, he was like, okay. All Might had thanked him and told him that if it weren't for you, I would have been a worthless bystander sitting in the crowd. And Izuku is confused on how. And All Might says, you motivated me, kid. Once I saw you out there acting like a true hero, healing people, saving that young man, it inspired me to act. So thank you. And he also said, and to also answer your question from earlier, you too can be a hero. And Deku, he slightly cries, and All Might tells him about One for All, how it works, and what happened, and everything about One for All that he knows. And he asks Deku, will he become his protege? Will he become this and that? Izuku had found this as his key to get into UA and be the #1 hero. So what Izuku does is he accepts without hesitation. And everything goes like original. 2 days later, they go to the beach. He starts making a plan for him, but instead of the original, it's 2 times harder. Because this time, Izuku wants to push himself harder than ever. So when the 10 months training arrive, and he's at the beach, every time he gets hurt or his body gets overworked, he always heals himself and keeps going till he runs out of stamina completely, or he does that for the rest of 5 months. And the original, he did it in 10 months and got the physique he needed for One for All, but this time he got it in 5 months, just from the training and what he was doing. All Might was impressed majorly. So after he catches Izuku when he falls down from the pile and he gives him a strand of hair, Izuku finds it weird, but he takes it and he's happy. Izuku wakes up the next day and he has a new regiment from All Might. And it's to keep control of One for All. Learn how to control it. So when they go to the beach the next day, he tells Deku to think of something like he does, like a smash. All Might tells him to clench his butt cheeks, and he aims it at the water, but out in the distance, and he full on uses 100% and smokes. And I mean, it was a crazy punch, just out in the open. Obviously he breaks his arm, but it's like he cleared a huge path in the water for a few seconds before the water started crushing in the path. And All Might's like, and All Might knows he has a healing quirk, but he doesn't want Deku to break his bones constantly, and so when Deku heals himself, which at this point it doesn't take much stamina based off the training he was doing. So he tells All Might it hurt, but I'll be fine to do it again. And he's like, no. The entire reason I pulled you here, young Midoriya, is to control it. So Deku starts trying things. And of course he breaks a few arms and legs from doing it, but he finally figures out on the 5th day that he can do it in one finger. So the only problem is he can't control it at a certain output. It's always at 100% of him just constantly breaking his bones. So for the next 3 months, they aim to control it and this is where he gets about 5% full Callan. I know it's like but they don't have Gran Torino to, teach. Well, they do, but I want to pull him later in the story. But All Might teaches him how to try to control it better, but it's better with he's like more controlled at 100%. Like, it does less damage to his bones, but it's gonna break his bones from how much he's been doing it. So he's unlocked 5%, but now he's gotta control 5% and go up in percentages, and I think that's what he's gonna be doing over the next 2 months. After the next 2 months, or on the last day, Izuku feels pretty confident in himself, and he's at about 15 to 20% right now, fully mastered. As Izuku thanks All Might repeatedly, as he appreciates everything he's done for him and everything that All Might trained him for and everything, and his quirk. And he'd like to give All Might one last thing before he goes to UA to get in. He puts his 2 hands on the same injury All Might had, and using all of his stamina, heals it to the best ability. And at this point, it just looks like a big bruise. And All Might feels extremely better. He might have just got he's really better. Think about it, at just 7 hours more to the time limit he has. But also with that, All Might only has a little bit of embers. He only has embers, so he's just, but still, Zuko heals him, and it just feels like a bruise at this point, so it doesn't hurt like that anymore. All Might thanks him, Midoriya, hands and knees, everything, but he tells All Might he tells All Might, please get up, and they have a friendly little chat before Deku has to go home and wake up the next day to go to the UA entry exam. Deku wakes up and he's already ready, fresh up in the morning. He eats a good meal in the morning, and he jogs all the way to UA. And he walks inside and he sees Bakugo. Once he sees Bakugo, he feels way more confident. Doesn't feel like he's scared of him anymore or nothing like that. So at that, he just walks ahead of Bakugo, ignoring him completely. And he goes inside with all the other people. As he sits down, he thinks that I'm gonna pass this, and nobody is going to beat me today. When Deku walks in, he goes into the written test area and goes and takes his written test and passes. Then on to the orientation of the practical exam. As he sits in there, and President Mike is explaining, a blue-haired guy with glasses on stands up and starts just yapping about how he didn't explain this. And President Mike says, I was getting to it. And he feels embarrassed and sits down. So when they get outside to go and do the exam, Izuku is kind of nervous, but at the same time he's really confident. So Izuku goes up to the front and gives himself a kind of a motivational speech in his head. As the gates open, Deku immediately, before anyone, activates 15% of One For All and runs through the gates. Everybody says it's cheating, but there's no real countdown in Heroes vs. Villains. So Izuku starts going for some low bots and then just racking up points and how much he can get. And he also runs around to find different people that need help, like if somebody needs help on a robot or if somebody's injured a little bit, he'll go help for hero points. And he does this the entire thing until the Zooporner is eventually unleashed. And well, Izuku, about to run back, hears a scream. Brown-haired girl, Ochako Uraraka, trapped under rubble as the UA Zero-Pointer is going to crush her. His body moves on its own, instantly going up to 30% full calorie as he's rushing over. But thinking he's going to be too late, he activates 100%, jumps, and does a Detroit smash, ending the robot. And he heals himself midair as instead of Uraraka slapping him so he could float on the ground, he just fires off a Delaware smash into the ground and lands, then activates 15% OFA and lifts up the rock, throws it off her, and then he helps her and heals her injury. Then he's kind of tired, so he just goes ahead and walks home, and the pro heroes are really amazed from the box what they've seen. And that's always definitely saying that kid's in my class. As Izuku gets home and his mom asks how was it, and he says it was pretty fine, it was pretty good, but I could have done a little bit better and amped up the energy a little bit, but I think I made it. And his mom is happy, so she makes katsudon, his favorite meal, and he eats it. I mean, some days later, he gets his thing that of course he makes it, but he also gets some other points for helping Uraraka as she gave him some points. And well, Izuku is very happy and wants to thank her, but so I mean, over the next 2 weeks, Izuku, I guess, just chills, and he gets his uniform, and when he wakes up on the day he's supposed to get there, and he's almost late, but he rushes out of there, activating 15% full howling, and gets there on time. And he's wondering why the doors are so big for a classroom. But, he walks inside, and he looks in there and sees who his classmates are, and Katsuki Bakugo sees him, and he's shocked. He's unbelievably shocked. And he says, "No fucking way. You actually made it." But how? And he's wondering how. But Izuku ignores him, proving him wrong. After all the years he said he couldn't get into UA, or he couldn't do this and couldn't do that. And Bakugo's just pissed. But instead, Bakugo he lets it go, which is surprising, but he lets it go. And after everybody gets settled in the classroom, Aizawa finally makes himself known in the sleeping bag and tells everybody that they're going to go test. And Uraka's like, "No orientation?" And Aizawa just gives his little, "There's no need for that." And, and when they go outside, they first start with the ball throw. And instead of Bakugo, it was Izuku this time. He throws Izuku the ball and tells him to throw it. Izuku goes about 30% and throws it, and he gets about 900 meters. Everybody's shocked, including Katsuki Bakugo. Then he hands the ball to Katsuki Bakugo, and Bakugo throws it about 792. Nowhere near Izuku's. He gets really mad and catches a fit, and he kind of pushes Deku, and he really despises Deku. But instead of Deku cowering in fear, or he pushes Bakugo back. Bakugo gets mad and wants to fight him, but Aizawa breaks the entire thing up. So after everyone goes, Izuku gets, he gets first place. Or he gets third place behind Todoroki and Momo. And then they do all the other tests like sprint speed. Deku beats Ida because in the sprint, Deku he is crazy. He goes about 10% for the grip strength and absolutely gets first in that. And after all the tests are done, he places about mostly third through first. I was pretty cool. I was always pretty amazed at it, but I'd say a week later, they're just sitting in class. Everybody's sitting in class. Well, they come out. All Might enters the room like a normal person, as he said, as that's what he says. Everybody's amazed and saying, "Oh my!" In their hero suits, told to get their hero suits on as they're going to the hero versus villain bomb practice. So everybody gets it in there. Goes the same as original. Uraraka and Deku versus Bakugo and Ida. And just the same thing. Just tells Uraraka same plan. She gets the bomb. She gets the bomb. He'll handle Bakugo. But this time, instead of Deku being scared, he's actually pretty confident. So he activates about 20%. And when he sees Bakugo down the hall, instead he does something really smart. He runs back as Bakugo is chasing him openly. Then as soon as Bakugo hits the corner, he bounces off the wall. So it can look really weird to Bakugo. And he straight on Detroit smashes Bakugo. And I mean into the wall completely. Almost knocking him out completely. But Bakugo is laying there completely just dazed and hurt. Izuku just grabs his wrist and ties him up, and Bakugo gets captured. Or Bakugo gets, arrested. And Izuku is just on his way to go find the bomb. And they find the bomb, and they win. So after that, Momo rates everything and does what she does. And then I'm gonna go ahead and skip to the USJ. And they're on the bus as they're talking about who's the top 3 strongest in class. And everybody puts Izuku at number 2 above Bakugo, but they don't think he's stronger than Todoroki because, the 2 quirks and obviously like that. But Izuku doesn't really care. So, and when they get there, 13 has some speech that nobody wants to listen to, but he still listens just because. And then he sees the purple portal in the middle of the plaza opening up as villains flood out. And he tells Aizawa and 13 that is that a part of the drill and everything? Aizawa says absolutely not, and he tells him to run as the warp portal, as Tomura Shigaraki and the Nomu exit out of the warp portal. And as everybody's trying to run, the warp portal gets right in front of them. And just like original, Kirishima and Bakugo try to jump at it, but end up getting in the way of 13, so she can't use her ability. And just like the original, Ida escapes, and everybody gets teleported around the place. Deku lands on the boat with all the water villains, with Sue and Mineta. But this time, he's not really scared. So, he immediately activates 30%. And he asks Suyu to get on his back, and same with Mineta. Then he jumps off the boat, does a Delaware smash into the water, creating a whirlpool, pulling them all in. He tells Mineta to launch the balls at them. and Mineta launches every single one, seeing them together because none of them can move. Then Izuku lands on the other side onto land, getting that dealt with quickly. Then he sees Aizawa fighting a bunch of villains. As he's going to go help, Aizawa's low-key beating the villains down. And then Tomu Shigaraki said, "Alright, enough playing. Nomu, kill him." Nomu, in a blink of the eye, nobody saw him move, slams Aizawa's head in the ground and breaks his arm. Deku, seeing this, instantly goes 100% full Kali. And this time, when he hits the Nomu, instead of the Nomu not feeling anything, the Nomu gets blown back just from the rage of Deku and 100%. But Deku breaks his arm and heals it straight back. He picks up Aizawa, and 100% is shredding his body, but his healing factor, his healing quirk is kind of just healing him from whatever injuries he's getting. So he gets Aizawa to safety immediately and then goes back down to handle the Nomu. Izuku says, "You want to mess with my teacher, my friends? You'll kill nobody here." And then he instantly blitzes the Nomu. And he does, just like overall, and he just takes off all the Nomu's arms and legs, as he's completely dogging the Nomu right now, but the Nomu regenerates. Izuku heals his broken arms and legs, and he's just fighting the Nomu crazy. I mean, it's looking like, and Izuku, instead of just getting tired, he's so pumped up with adrenaline that his stamina almost feels like it's unlimited, even though he's probably almost out. But Izuku keeps pushing. For about 5 minutes, he's beating the Nomu down. And he's about to do one final punch, as then All Might bursts in. And as soon as All Might bursts in, Deku does a Detroit smash, just caving in the Nomu's entire brain and his entire head in the ground. As Izuku can't heal his arm because he's way too tired, and as his 100% form, and he's about to fall to the ground, as All Might catches him, getting there that fast, tell him, "You did an amazing job, young Midoriya." And at this time, All Might, he's not playing at all. As they try to warp away Shigaraki, All Might immediately blitzes, and I mean blitzes Kirigiri and Shigaraki. As there's no way out of this one. Then All For One uses his teleportation quirk to teleport Shigaraki out of there and leave Kurogiri. Nomu is dead, but they're still testing on what he was and what he is and all that. And they also test the other Nomu, Kurogiri. And they find out a lot earlier. Aizawa in prison might find out a lot earlier of who he is and what he is. And that emotional thing happens as All For One knows extremely how dangerous Izuku is and how dangerous everybody is. He starts Shigaraki's surgery and everything and starts his implants and everything early. As Deku reaches the hospital and everything, he lays there resting. He's exhausted. He pushed over limit and he beat the Nomu, which is All Might, basically. Right now, imagine All Might. And it was shocking that he beat the Nomu. So when Izuku had woken up a day later, he told All Might, when All Might was in there with him, said, "I can't believe I defeated him, All Might. And hold back for 1 second." He was like, "I know, young Midoriya, you did well. Now, we only have a little bit more hero work to do before we catch the villain, that disgusting villain." And he decides to tell Izuku everything about All For One and everything about what happened in his master and all that. Izuku's shocked to hear all this information, but he knows his new responsibility now is to stop any villain that's remotely close to All For One, hinting in the future Shigaraki and All For One himself. He has to stop if he's still alive. So what Izuku does is he's like, tells All Might, then I gotta improve, All Might. I've gotta get better. And that's exactly what Izuku wants to do and does. When he's in the hospital, instead when he gets his stamina back, he starts healing his broken arm and his broken legs. That's about in about 15 minutes, they're all healed. And he gets out of and he calls the nurse and they get him out of the cast and everything. The only thing Izuku is worried about is getting stronger. And that's exactly what Izuku does. When he's at UA, when they're training, he takes everything seriously, not wasting a single rep, not wasting a single anything like that. As Izuku even has nights like trainings by himself, just practicing on him controlling Ofa. And does this, gets way stronger. And I mean way stronger. I mean, he doesn't break his bones on purpose. He doesn't try, at least, but he does it to get more mastery of the quirk and see how his limits can go. As Izuku is doing all this training, the UA Sports Festival comes up. Izuku has been training for this, as Izuku's really not worried about what's going on right now, but worried about what's going on and what he has to do, what his responsibilities are, and he's getting more accustomed to that. So at this point in the story, he's about 35% of One for All, which is a high, really high percentage right now. But Deku is doing some extreme training. And he's also been using 30% full caling for the longest. So you're gonna get a good master over it for. So a day before the UA festival or UA Sports Festival happens, Izuku is training that night. He's working on his mastery as Shoto was up finding him training. And Todoroki had a few questions to ask Izuku. And he asked, "Are you All Might's secret love child? Or are you All Might's secret something?" He's wondering if because I mean, his fighting style is like All Might's. Kind of says the same things out loud like All Might does. And he's like, "No, I'm just a fanboy." But Todoroki's kind of suspicious. But, you know, a day later, we can just skip everything until we get to the point where it's the race, as Izuku off rip activates 35%, dusting everybody out the wind, and he kind of avoids the 0-pointers, goes past them. He has no issue until I think the pit. He uses 100% to jump across the entire pit and heals his legs immediately when he lands, which is like his legs are already like broken when he's landed, but he immediately heals them. So any damage he was taken from when he even hit the fall, it'd be negated from his healing. He keeps on running until he gets into the minefield, which, like original, he does it 2 times faster though. Even he's in the lead right now, but they're catching up. Bakugo and Todoroki are. So he does a little mine thing and he straight explodes. But instead of him like just keep landing, he kinda sits up on the board, and as soon as it hits the ground, he jumps off of it. And when he's falling down, he rolls. He kind of times his roll and rolls and activates about 40% of One for All and dusts them into the tunnel and gets first place. Going on to the battles. So it's Deku versus Shinso first. So we're gonna go ahead and it's just gonna be like the original. Ojiro warns Izuku, but he doesn't listen. And he says something about like his family, like his mom and his dad not being there, or something to just make him mad. Izuku says something like, "What do you know?" and "Don't talk about my mom," and all that. And Shinso says, "Got him." And Izuku's under the control of the thing. So Izuku's like, "Damn, you got me." But the same thing in Original happens as he fires off a Delaware Smash and sees the past users. But this time they're kind of like, he can see them more. Now that he's mastering the quirk a lot faster, a lot really better, he can see them more vividly. So he's seen them, and he snaps out of mind control, and instead of just blitzing Shinso with 40%, instead what he does is he fights Shinso like a regular thing, giving him a fair fight, even though he whoops Shinso completely because Deku's way too strong. But Shinso respects it. So Izuku is like, "I'm so glad I almost didn't win that." And well, after that, he's thinking about the people he saw. He's kind of weirded out of what happened and confused. So after all the matches that come up, it's him versus Todoroki. And he goes out there and he activates about 35%. Max of what he can go right now. And Todoroki just with his ice is no match. Like, he's getting blitzed out of the wind right now. I mean, Deku lands about 2 Detroit smashes and he's already knocking the wind out of Todoroki. It's bad. And he's just blitzing Todoroki. The only way Todoroki's staying in is because he keeps spawning ice behind him to catch like him going out. But even that breaks sometimes. And Deku tells him to use his fire. And he was like, "I'll never use my fire." Because he said it's his, it's not his. It's his fire, and that's all Todoroki thinks about. And Izuku tells him, it's not his, it's yours. It's your fire, not his. Don't let other people, no matter who it is, don't let other people make you feel like it's theirs when it's clearly yours, Todoroki. Use it, or you're gonna lose this match against me. And Todoroki flares his fire sign, but when he starts trying to use his ultimate move, Izuku activates 50% and completely blitzes him. Detroit smashes him into a wall entirely, destroying him. As Todoroki is crazily hurt and cratered in the wall, Izuku runs over to him and heals him immediately, but he's still unconscious. And moving past the other matches, it's Izuku versus Bakugo. And when I say Izuku holds nothing back against Bakugo, he holds nothing back. He lets out all the rage he had for years. And just completely destroys Bakugo. I mean, he keeps just blitzing him. And before even Bakugo can fly out the ring, he catches his leg and slams him. Everybody thinks it's really brutal. And it got to a point where Midnight just stopped the match because Bakugo was already out cold. Bakugo landed one explosion, and that was just off pure luck because Deku wasn't paying attention. After that, Deku completely clobbered him and made him look like a idiot. And it was so bad that he really injured Bakugo and knocked him out, and it was insane. And so he heals Bakugo, but like Todoroki, he's just unconscious. And so Deku he wins it all, gets first place. So, then Izuku is kind of happy with his work. He finally won something in his life and is in the big shots. Deku's pretty excited, but he says there's still more work to be done. And so, moving on from there, we're gonna go with he's gonna hit first into the ship. He's just gonna go like the original to Gran Torino, just for first of all, it's a recommendation from All Might, and second of all, he just wants to see if he can get a better mastery of his quirk and get more agile of how his movement is. So over that span of a week, he just trains extra hard with Gran Torino, as instead of in Gran Torino already, he knows, on the first day, he didn't think anything was, he didn't think anything was serious. He acted like an old man and all that, until he actually went up against Izuku. And instead of Izuku getting confused on his movements, Izuku caught him immediately. As he went about 20% and caught him immediately. So Gentry was kind of shocked, but he teaches Deku how to get movement and how to be agile on the walls and bouncing off walls. So when they're on the train and they're riding and Nomu crashes onto the thing, Izuku's like, what the? And but he goes out, as Gran Torino tells him to stay on the train, stay here and protect the people. He said he goes off just like in the original. And just like the original, he goes and he finds Stain about to kill Ila. He blitzes Stain at 60%, immediately destroying him, through a wall, through a building and all, just destroying him as an instant blitz. Stan is just knocked out cold. I think Izuku almost killed him. That's how much impact Izuku put, but it was just enough to knock him out severely. Probably gave him brain damage, as Izuku kind of healed his arm. And the pro hero on the ground and Ida, he heals the pro hero on the ground and Ida. And when they get up, they're perfectly good and fine. And Izuku says, are they alright? And they tie up Stain. And it's a lot. And Deku just tells them to watch Stain as he goes and helps around with the Nomus. And he kind of he goes around as he blitzes the weaker Nomus with about 45% just blitzing the Nomus. And Izuku he's set. He took about 3 Nomus. He took out Stain. He blitzes a few weaker Nomus, and the heroes get all the credit because he doesn't have his license for his hero license, so he can't really use his quirk out there. So heroes covered it up and everything. So after that, Zuko is just back to getting on his quirk and just getting mastery on it, as he just is feeling good. He's feeling great. I mean, he saved a lot of people and saved one of his classmates and friends. So everybody gets back to UA. We're gonna go ahead and just skip the final exam arc and go to the camp arc with the Wild Pussycats. And I feel like what he do over the few days is just work on strength training and endurance, and how much stamina he puts out and uses. So when the League of Villains come and they go, and when he follows where Koda is, he sees Muscular. He immediately goes into 55% one for all, and blitzes Muscular, immediately knocking him out without a sweat. Koda thanks him and everything like that. Then he takes Koda to safety and runs down to help his classmates. And since he's not injured this time, he kind of stops a lot of things. Like when he stops about the guy who has that quirk with his teeth, and it's like the metal coming out of his teeth. He blitzes that guy. He blitzes he helps Uraka and blitzes Toga, and he's a little bit too late on getting Bakugo. He couldn't save Bakugo from getting captured in the portal and everything. So there was nothing he could do. He tried to follow him, but they closed the portal immediately as he screamed, "Kachan!" and Bakugo was gone. So they all devised, like the original, they devised a plan to dress up as, adults and all that, and try to go get Bakugo back. But in this timeline, when they do, Izuku he's not messing around. He's trying to get everything done. So once Izuku gets once Izuku gets with the group to go out to seek, and they get to the spot where All For One and everything is, instead of Izuku being scared, he actually waits until All Might. Once All Might is there and they start fighting and they get Bakugo out of there, instead what Deku does is he couldn't sit there and watch his master fight to the death. So he does something a little bit risky. He turns a 100% of One For All full Callan, and him and All Might just start jumping All For One. It's like All Might hits him with a smash. Deku comes out of nowhere, even though All Might told him to get away. He hit All For One, 100% smash. And what they do is, as soon as All For One tries to use all of his quirks and all that, Deku immediately does 100% Detroit Smash as All Might does a Detroit Smash, and it's equivalent power to the United States of Smash, except All Might doesn't lose his Ember of the Flames and all that, and he's not hurt like that. And they defeat All For One as the camera didn't catch Izuku. I mean, they caught him with All Might, but they didn't catch like Izuku himself. And Izuku escaped the scene without being seen. And All Might does this pose, but in this buff form. As before Izuku had fled the scene, he had healed All Might. So All Might just is in his pose. He wasn't hurt at all because he was healed by Izuku. And they take All For One in Tartarus and all that. And by the time this is, Shigaraki's are implants and all that, they're about 80% complete. So Shigaraki is almost released. So that Izuku had gotten punished, but he also gotten amazingly thanked. He got punished by Zawa, but he also got thanked by everybody, and especially All Might. And so then Deku we already know that Deku's gonna get his license, so we can skip past this. We'll go to the overall arc when he's trying to get a thing with Night Eye. He walks in there with Mirio, as Mirio just explains to him that he has to be funny. And Deku's not really the type of guy to make people laugh, unless it's like he makes a funny face or he says something funny on accident. But Izuku goes in there and he tries to make everything funny, but the same thing goes in the original. He baits Izuku into try to get the stamp away from him, because Izuku was so unfunny. But this time Izuku goes into his 55%, and Night Eye dodges it, but he barely, even with the thing, dodged it. So Izuku amps it up to 70% of One For All and immediately takes the stamp. No matter how or where he sees it, Deku bounces off the wall and immediately takes the stamp. And then he signs the paper and got it that way. And Night Eye is really impressed. Insane. He kind of reflects that, like, that's kind of what All Might probably could do type stuff. So after that, a little bit, later, they go on patrol looking for a villain, or supposed villain in the area. Overhaul, of course. But they come across Eri. She's running away from him. And Izuku is immediately, she runs into Izuku's arms as he's a hero and she's help. So Izuku goes ahead and Mirio is against the idea. He's looking down at Izuku, just saying, give Eri back to him, and we gotta report this thing. But Izuku just can't do that. And I'd say Izuku immediately just blitzes him. I mean, he bursts into 90% of one for all and just blitzes, just knocks him out completely, just washes him. He doesn't care what Mirio says or Night Eye, nothing like that. He just blitzes Overhaul, knocking him out. And he kind of uses Eri to go back to and find their base, and well, they get everything. And they send a bunch of pro heroes in there and clear out all the villains, and they have proof of Overhaul and what he's done and everything. So they kind of put Overhaul in the quirk canceling handcuffs and then take him on, and he's gone. But the same thing happens, except without Shigaraki. They kind of crash the van and then take his bullet things and cut off his arms and everything. This time it's a lot earlier. It's not so. They lock him up in Tartarus, and then Deku goes. We're gonna go ahead and skip all the way to the Pro Hero arc, but All Might, he's not gonna retire this time, because he still has the embers. He never lost. It's not like he's losing them, but he didn't get worn down or beat down. You gotta think he didn't fight the Nomu. He barely fought All For One. They jumped him. So there's not really nobody who injured him or pushed him past his limit to let go of everything, nothing like that. And Deku's just been healing him, so he still has hella hours, and so. But the same things will happen in the city when Endeavor is facing a high end, and everything goes like in the original, and he burns that high end to a crisp. And then a week before Class 1A goes against Class 1B, Deku's already unlocked all of his past users' quirks, every single one. And he's just working on mastering them that entire week. And he has quick mastery of Black Whip. He has some good mastery of Float and some other good mastery of other quirks, like Smoke Screen and all of them. But Fajin and Gear Shift is a thing he's working on right now. Every time he uses them, he just heals him. If he goes overboard, he just heals himself. So, and this is a week before, so when he goes against Class 1B, he blitzes the entire team by himself. It's kind of moving like Vigilante Deku, but times 5, and it's he's holding back crazily. He has about 80% handle of one for all right now. And I mean, he's destroying everybody in the path right now. So, you know. So, he kind of, you know, ends, what's it called? Class 1B, blitzes them. And so, Shigaraki's implants are done. And now he's getting out. And so he kind of immediately when he gets out, he goes and he searches the quirk. And goes, as soon as he finds him, he immediately goes and steals her quirk to search for One for All. So, when everything was going good and cool, Shigaraki had crashed into UA, like, surprise attack, and he didn't come alone. He brought a lot of people, a lot of villains, like Dobby and all them. All Might, and all the pro heroes are already there. So, and also Deku was there too. And they just been working. He's been working on using his quirks. So he instantly goes into 80%. He busts up he puts on Gear Shift Fajin, and Aizawa cancels Shigaraki's quirk so he doesn't decay anybody, and Deku's just beating him. It's insane. It's like, we all know how he made a false 120% with only 45%. This is like a 90% Deku with all his quirks. So this is like a 245% Deku. He's continuously blitzing Shigaraki. Like, he wants to save him, but he doesn't. He also wants to, he wants to get rid of Shigaraki too. That's also a side of him that he wants. So he kind of goes into a outside more, so they don't get anything killed inside. So he starts he's whooping Shigaraki badly. I'm talking about badly. Every smash Shigaraki takes, that's like a limb off. His arm gets blown off, or it's and his healing is not coming through. So he's already got 2 of his arms blown off by Deku. And Deku's he just goes 100% and one punch just knocks Shigaraki's straight head off his body. Even though I wanted Deku to go a different route than the original and just end Shigaraki as it was, instead of him going through I want to save him, and then he gets his stuff. So he still has his quirk, he still has everything, so he's going to be able to. So he had killed Shigaraki, but it was worth everything. So, and he's still hitting that pose in the final, and he ends Shigaraki just in the air and stuff. So yeah, sorry that I got kind of lazy at the ending, but I just been so busy. I'm about to make a new series on everything, so thank you guys for watching. This was What If Deku Had a Healing Quirk, the movie. And for this. Let me keep going with this entire series, and see you guys in peace.